think,
Kinani, is there a solution?
I strongly believe there's nothing that doesn't have a solution. And looking the sentiments, the interactions that we've had, it seems like it's not like Biafrans are out to fight. That is the first point we have to be clear. What Biafrans want and are demanding from the Nigerian government is this, that one, we agree that we have been harassed for too long. We agree that our uncles, mothers, sisters have been raped and our people killed. We agree that we cannot find piped water, electricity, roads, hospitals, anywhere. But that's okay. What we are asking right now is that let us be given a chance through a referendum. It's not even a question of having leaders like Nnamdi Kanu speak for us. Let us, as a people, be given by the Nigerian government the power to self-determination and be allowed to determine the course of that we want to take as a people from here henceforth. Because we don't share values with Nigeria, the bigger Nigeria. We don't share values with them, and we feel like they have not been listening. We have cried for too long, and our tears have dried.
Okay, let's start with Mackenzie. The situation is, you can see overwhelmingly they are not interested. I want you to hold your fire and give me a solution when we come to final discussion on the matter. That is for you. Do they go? Do they negotiate? What do they do? For Linda Alera, is it oil? Is it the resources? Is it the lack of the bad past leadership that has created the current situation? And then Kinani, look at which way forward. Then those 4 points, 3 point pillars will form the general discussion and the talking point for this show. So let's start with Esther. 90% of our callers and those watching, they say hallelujah. Not even a single person said that let's wait in the house of God for a few minutes before the flood comes. They have said let them die with the flood ahead. Whatever happens out, that. And what are the consequences of this? Which, take it from there now.
All right, I think this is quite a delicate balancing act for the Nigerian government, because as you've seen, 90% of maybe 98% of the callers or the viewers have already made up their mind that they want to go their own way. They want to have an independent country. Yeah, and whether that is going to actualize, that is something else. And also what it means for them to cede, I think that is something else. But as you can see, they have said, they're saying they have a lot of grievances. They have a lot of issues with the Nigerian government. They feel marginalized, and they feel that the government has been doing a lot of injustices. There's one caller who talked about historical injustices, and I think that is something that is affecting many African countries, not only Nigeria alone. So for now, it's something that maybe we cannot conclude.
We can't even conclude.
Yeah, we can conclude. But there's one viewer actually who commented and said that it's not even actually the issue of Biafra. It's just that people have a bad mentality or negative. It is the mentality that they have. It's not.
Which is everywhere in Africa.
Yeah, it's not. Yes. It's not even.
But there is one thing before we tackle, before you leave the stage, and we do something else. There is something paining me. That has pained me for, as a student of historical history and political science. Most of the parts of the British colonies have troubles in the north. Did you know that? Kenya, Uganda. Can you see that? We had problems in the north. The north picked up arms in Uganda to say the South had marginalized them. In most parts of where if you go to the Shona and the Ndebele, the smaller tribes that were put on the bigger tribes tend to repel. South Africa, the Zulu, the biggest tribe. Part of the problem that is in South Africa, which is being fueled now with lots of NGO and civil society, is the Zulus have dominated us. Have you seen that? Where else? Malawi. The only place in Africa where the North has been peaceful is Tanzania, where you find the leader came from the North, went to the South. The South never complained, united them quickly using Swahili and other institutions. In fact, if you look at the contribution that Mwalimu Nyerere made to Tanzania by putting Tanzanians, you know Tanzanians have more tribes than Kenyans.
Yes,
136 tribes, but all of them, if you go there to speak your tribe, they throw you in the ocean. Here in us who have 32 only, 42. Uganda, we have 32. Oh no, 72, actually, tribes. We used not to see eye to eye. So, does it concern you that there could be an external element? That is the thing where I was heading. An external element which is redoing the British colonies. Inside, let them go to disarray. Because power rivalry, even superpowers can be working together under NATO, but they still have rivalry. Agents, spies from France could be spying on Britain, Britain could be spying on France, Russia could be spying on America, that is known. But within the NATO states, each state spies on each other. Don't you think there is a factor there, Kinani, and you'll touch?
Factor, and I think this one has been in the public domain because at some point in time you've seen the British and also the United States coming aboard to say that on this particular problem of the Nigerians of the Biafran war, and they've come on board to actually accuse the French of trying to find their way into the Biafran, and into the Nigerian people so that they would actually grasp the oil down on ground. So this is not a factor that we can rule out actually, because you realize that during even the Biafran war, of course, the French were taking so much part in trying to see that they would actually come aboard and bring armisons and try and to deliver weapons or something like things to the Biafran people so that they would actually fight it out. So much as we might want to rule out the hand of an external factor, it is a fact that stands even to date that indeed there is an external factor to this, but then their main interest is actually based on the oil. Coming to the question of whether there is a solution to this, indeed it looks like, yes, we have tried maybe all these things. 50 years is no joke, actually, trying out to see whether something is going to work. And literally the only option that we're left with right now is to try basically what the Biafran people are offering as a solution, that they want a referendum. And they've even taken a chance to actually go a legal way in the sense that we say, we're not going to declare ourselves a state. We want to take the legal route. We want a referendum. We want to be independent. Let's get the chance to actually decide whether moving forward this is going to work or not. And I think the try and error thing is very, very important, because at this particular point, you give them a chance to decide. If they decide that, of course, they want to go independent, they go and try and face life on the other end. Then, of course, you come to the question whether this is achievable or not. So I think, in my own opinion, it is beyond the help of anybody, any powerful person to actually come aboard and say that, this is what we would want to do.